Okay, so what can you do as a teacher to really kind of provide a lot of structure for your students? Because structure is good for all students, but especially students with autism really want to have a structured environment. So here's an example of something from that a parent has done, and it's a picture schedule. Why do you think that they use pictures instead of just words? Yeah, you can interpret it faster. For young kids, if they can't read, then that's easy to see. A lot of students with autism can be nonverbal, right? So words might not mean anything to them, but the picture of their bed will. So you'll see these picture cards used a lot. And it kind of just shows, okay, when we wake up, the alarm goes off, we get out of bed, we put on our robe, and then we put on our slippers. And so if you were a parent, you might point to each one and say, okay, Jake, we're getting out of bed now. And you point to that picture. And then when it's time to put on your robe, you point to that and say, okay, Jake, now we're going to put on our robe. And that way it kind of reinforces the schedule so it becomes like a normal thing you do every day. Here's another one. This is something that you see in all elementary school classes, right? You remember back to kindergarten, first, second grade, what'd you do first thing in the morning when you got to school? Some kids probably in charge of the calendar, right? And they change on the little magnetic board what the date is. Maybe one kid is in charge of the weather, so they might go stand at the window and go, it's a blizzard, right? So there's this kind of structure that you do every morning, and it helps all students, not just your students with disabilities. You can also use hello songs. So I'll play an example for you of one of these hello songs.
Hello there. Hello there. How are you? How are you? It's so good. It's so good to see you. To see you. We'll sing and be happy. Be happy. We're all here together again.
I'll sing, you be my echo. Hello there.
Hello there. How are you?
How are you?
It's so good.
It's so good
To see you.
to see you.
We'll sing and be happy.
Be happy.
We're all here together again.
One more time.
Hello there. Hello there. How are you? How are you? It's so good. It's so good to see you. To see you. We'll sing and be happy. Be happy. We're all here together again.
So, if you did this song on the very first day of school, and then when your students came back in the second day of school, you did it again. Then the third week of school, you did it again. It's only a 2-minute song, right? It takes 2 minutes at the beginning of class. It kind of provides a little bit of structure. And you don't have to do the same hello song every time they come in, but you could choose a different one. There's probably, if you searched hello songs in Google right now, you could pull up 100 different ones. So it just kind of provides this, oh, we're coming into music class, right? You can also do goodbye songs. Here's an example of a goodbye song.
Line up, it's time to get lined up. It's time to go, so don't be slow. Line up, line up. It's time to go, so don't be slow. Line up.
30 seconds, right? And it's just this little song that helps them know, oh, okay, we're lining up now. So they're not kind of, a lot of times when my students, I used to teach self-contained classes with autism, and so my students would be pissed when it was time to leave music, right? Because they're having fun, they're playing instruments, it's a good time, and it's time to leave music, and it's like, there's a temper tantrum. Right, so if you're singing this song as they're going out the door and you're still playing the instrument like, yeah, see you later, and they're out the hall and they're like, oh. But at least they're gone from your class, right? They can cry in the hallway. No, that's really mean to say. But it's a way of kind of leading them out the door with music. So it's like, oh, okay, now it's over, right? Yeah. Positive reinforcement and rewards are really important. A lot of my students would have like little machines, because my students were typically nonverbal, couldn't speak, so they would point to a picture and say, I want the maracas, right? They couldn't say that, but they could point to I want triangle. I want, point to the picture of what instrument they want to play. And that way they have a little bit of choice. They also make machines that'll do this for you. You can program their mother's voice or your voice into the machine so they can touch the picture and it actually says the word that they're touching. So it'll say, I want triangle, or I want juice, or whatever they want. So we talked a little bit about sensory experience. This is one of my former students, and he's got on a vest it's really similar to that thunder shirt I was telling you about that dogs wear when there's a thunderstorm. And it really provides just like comfort. And so days when he would not have this vest, it's a very bad day, behavior-wise, right? Because he didn't have that pulling him really tight. This is another really cool thing. Has anybody seen this? It's from Harry Potter. It's just a fun sensory experience it looks like a sleeping bag, doesn't it? But they're called body socks. I've seen PE teachers use them. I've seen music teachers use them. I've seen EC teachers use them. And they're just fun. So you get inside of it, and you play some music, and you move. And if you think about having a class full of students and they all have one of these, wow, it's so fun. They also make really big versions of these. I'll show you what that looks like. So there's a couple. That's the fun version. That's the big version. So you can put your entire class in this one. And it's kind of like, you remember back to parachute day in elementary school? Yeah, best day ever. So you can play some music and provide a sensory experience this way. And you see how it makes your hair really staticky? Poor little Morgan there. Her hair's like, she's been having fun in the body sock. There's a couple more pictures of my students on body sock day. Just like parachute. Think about that experience of what it's like to be under a parachute. What are you experiencing when you're under the parachute?
Well, I guess everybody's really contained together.
Yeah, good. Everybody's contained and together, like almost like being in the womb, right?
Yeah.
Because it's dark and it's warm and it's like everyone's there. What else is that like? Think about visually. When we said dark, what about touch-wise? What's happening under the parachute? It's staticky, yeah. You remember Chad said his friend with autism kind of had problems with things touching his skin? Well, when you do things like this, and it's a fun experience, instead of like having an itchy tag on your shirt that like really itches you, then it kind of gradually eases you into that sensory experience without being overwhelmed. And that's why it's good. This is the machine I was telling you about that you can use with your students where it actually talks for them. Then they can touch a picture and it's maybe a glass of water. Water, I want water. And you can program songs. So say you're doing the hello song and you have a student that can't sing. Well, you can program their machine ahead of time so when they touch a button it says, hello there, right? And so they can be your echo by just touching the button. You sing hello there and they press the button and say, hello there. And it's your voice, but they get a really like, wow. When you haven't been able to participate in music class and you can touch a button and something comes out and you made it happen, whoa, big deal.